In Machado, Garry beats Carlos Prates by unanimous decision, 3 rounds to 2 in my professional opinion. And let's talk about the matchup, the main event that we had at Kansas City last weekend. I did not sleep. I was up watching the boxing. I had work at 6 a.m. the next day. I thought, fuck it, let's watch the boxing. Straight into the UFC at 12 a.m. and finished at about 5:30. I was at work at 6:30, hadn't slept, wide awake, buzzing off the fights. And today has been a recovery day and now I'm making a video. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the fights, folks. Look, Ian Machado, Garry gets it done. I love Ian Garry. He's a weirdo. He's fun. He's great at singing. He's a laugh. He's so fucking talented. He's so fast. He's so strong. He's great at moving on the back foot, picking shots. He's like a brick wall. Anytime Carlos Prates got any momentum, he would mow him down with a takedown, he would shoot a big teep, shoot a big shot, and he was coming in with combinations. I seen the MMA guru say, oh, he was a tippy-tappy point fighter. Brother, he was throwing uppercuts, left hooks. Prates has a very basic Muay Thai style, holding his guard here, not doing too much at a time. You can see him kind of playing that Muay Thai game during the fight. That doesn't work in MMA. I'm sorry, that's a prime example of how Muay Thai does not work at the high level in MMA. Ian Garry is a top 5 welterweight in the world, and he's now turning around in 2 weeks to be weigh in as the backup for the main event as the title fight in Canada. So historically, whoever weighs in as the backup gets the next title shot. That's kind of like what you do. He'll probably get paid his show money to turn up. More money in the pocket, he might not have to fight, and he doesn't cut a lot of weight anyway. Imagine somebody pulls out and he goes and wins the belt. But we're not going to talk about that. That's a massive hypothetical situation. If so, this video is pointless. But however, let's break down the fight. Prates didn't do anything. He didn't do enough. MMA guru was saying, Prates didn't do enough because of this, because of that. No, it's because he couldn't. 6'3" welterweight. Doesn't matter about how long his arms are. The stature is what's important. What he's doing in front of you is what's important. I don't think he could have gotten to Ian Garry effectively without being hurt in that first round. People say Gary's a timid fighter. He has shown that in the past. He didn't show enough venom in any of his last fights. He hasn't really gotten too many highlights from this fight either. However, he is so good at winning. And against Shavkat, he beat Shavkat in terms of finishing instinct, finishing ability. He just looked like the more dangerous and actually the more complete fighter in that fight. Being boring does win you fights in MMA. However, Ian Garry is constantly growing, he's constantly evolving. If Conor McGregor was shooting takedowns in the UFC and getting takedowns, he would be a much better grappler. Doing it on the big stage levels you up. Striking on the big stage, the way Ian Garry's been doing, levels you up. Now attempting grappling, now taking people's backs on the big stage, that levels you up as well. I think as a completed fighter, he's up there, and he would be a very difficult, tough test for Belal Muhammad. Obviously, Leon Edwards is nowhere near the level of Ian Garry. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, it's a different striking style, however. Edwards would quit against Ian Garry. Edwards would not be able to pin Garry down. He wouldn't be able to trudge towards him without being smoked. Stylistically, you have to match Garry up next fight. Sean Brady, meh. Fight Shavkat, I think. Logically, this is going to sound mental, but realistically, Joaquin Buckley and Usman are fighting. What's that, 3 and 4 fighting? Shavkat and Sean Brady realistically have a fight in July, August, September type time. So, I give to you my proposal, which actually at the moment stands pretty good. Unless Ian Garry wants to fight down the rankings, I don't know what he'll be ranked, we'll find out tomorrow. Unless he wants to fight down and fight a Colby Covington, which he would destroy Colby, let's be honest, he would destroy Colby Covington. Unless he wants to fight down, and in 2 weeks he's weighing in as the backup. He didn't really take too much damage, although I did see a picture on Instagram this morning where he's in an ice bath, recovering, as you would do. He's fighting for the belt next. He just is. Let's put it this way. Usman and Buckley fight in June, right? They're not going to jump into another 2-month training camp. They're going to take a few weeks off. You have to really get something booked. Belal fights in 2 weeks. May. September, October. Ian Machado Garry versus the winner of Belal and Jack Della Maddalena. Maybe another Australia card, September, October, November. I know Ian Garry loves to be active, but if they're saying you get a title shot against Bilal in Abu Dhabi in October, sit out maybe. Just improve your game. Just improve. Or he just waits to fight Buckley. Because I believe Buckley will beat Usman. And I know MMA Guru predicted, or he wants Buckley versus Ian Garry next. Obviously, if Buckley gets through Kamaru Usman, as a lot of people believe he will at this point in Usman's career. I think this is going to be Usman's last fight. Which is sad, considering what he's done in the sport. However, Ian Garry very well could be fighting for a title next, and it just comes down to how the division's now fully booked in the top 5. Sean Brady and Shavkat aren't booked, right? I do not think the UFC are going to put Ian Garry against Sean Brady, because Sean Brady was knocked out by Bilal Muhammad. That says it all. Sean Brady's overrated to fuck. Leon Edwards is also just shit, in my professional opinion. Ian Garry versus Jack Della Maddalena, main event in Sydney, would be insane. The welterweight division really has no stars, and I think even if Shavkat was the champ at welterweight, there's not much aura around him for some reason anymore. I think people realised, yeah, he's now 7-0 in the UFC, but, you know, and I feel like Ian Garry could be that really polarised and really fucking irritating, hated champion that we've been craving. And I think he fights for the belt next, if I'm being honest. He obviously has saved a few events now on short notice. He also took the Buckley fight on 40 days notice, which I suppose 5 weeks, that's 5 weeks. So 5 weeks, excluding fight week, that's 4 weeks. There's not a lot of time. Like if somebody said to you, oh, do you want to fight in 4 weeks? And you haven't been in camp, you're like, yeah, I could probably do it. I could make weight, but are you going to be in shape? You don't know. Fair play to Ian Garry. And he went 5 rounds. People are like, oh, why wasn't he? You know, he did slow down. He was mixing in the grappling, but mixing in the grappling on the big stage with the striking and getting used to that cardio on the big stage is much different to in the gym. He's going to just grow from this. The way Bilal Muhammad grew throughout his career, the way Merab grew throughout his career, the way O'Malley came into his own. A lot of these big stars really grow and learn on the job, and Ian Garry absolutely has. You know, he's been in the UFC for 4 or 5 years now. This is his 5th year, I think, within the company. He's done phenomenal. I think he got 2021. This is his 4th year in the company, and he's had 10 fights. So the guy's on a tear. I want to see him fighting 3 times a year. However, I think this year might be twice. April and October, I can imagine it being. I can imagine him going away now, growing and learning. If anything happens in 2 weeks, I wouldn't fancy his chances after coming away from that fight. He must have taken a wee bit of damage. Probably a lot of swelling on his forearms, on his feet, on his shins, and a bit of a sore head, I'd imagine. However, phenomenal fight. I want Ian Garry to sit back, wait around, and to just take a title shot, because people are like, oh, Sean Brady deserves it. Sean Brady got knocked out by Bilal. It's an entertainment business. That stylistically, we've seen that fight. It wasn't great at all. Bilal looked terrible and still knocked him out. Ian Garry versus Leon Edwards would be one I'm interested in, however. Ian Garry versus Leon Edwards would be a banger. That's a co-main event of a pay-per-view. Winner gets a title shot. However, by that point, Buckley and Usman, Buckley might be next in line. So I just want to see him sit and be like, yeah, you can give me Leon, or you can give me my title shot, fucking whatever. Or an interim belt with Buckley in August. Winner fights Bilal in October. Bilal deserves to take time off after another hard camp. Anyway, moving on to Carlos Prates. Neil Magny beat the loser of Usman Buckley. I like Prates. He's fun. He's one of the fighting nerds. You want to keep marketing him. He took a step up. He was number 13. He fought 7. He lost his 7. Close fight. Give him someone in the top 15. Maybe defend his ranking against somebody. Kevin Holland versus Prates. If Kevin Holland gets through Luque, that's a good one. Luque versus Prates, something like that. 2 Brazilians going at it. In terms of Prates' performance, I made a video on it a few weeks ago, a month ago or 2 now. Muay Thai does not work in MMA anymore when you're against one of these guys. Like Garry, the stature of him, the way he moves, he's fast as fuck, he's accurate. When he's in the pocket and he knows he's got momentum, he's venomous. I'd like to see him a bit more venomous when he's not in the, you know, when he's just giving you looks. I want to see a bit more tenacity from him, I feel, but he'll grow into that. You know, he's not one of these guys that had to fight. He just likes fighting. He wanted to fight, so he might have to grow into that a wee bit. But that's my little breakdown for you folks. I massively appreciate you watching. Like, comment and subscribe.